seen the latest stuff with Terry Crews. I don't even want to know, to be honest. I don't even want to know. You know? But listen. Someone says stranger danger. Yeah, he asked me about do I have a problem with Africans? Now, that's just a bitch question to ask because you know the answer. You know I don't. That's a loaded question. That's a statement of a nigga just trying to project his own bullshit. Don't come around here with that passive-aggressive shit, dude. Come on, nigga. Get out of here with that. Don't come around us with that hoe-ass talk. You know? I should get Polite on the project. Yeah, Polite is my dude. I like Brother Polite. You know, people be having problems with Polite. Polite is a cool dude. Brother Polite is real good brother. He's always been respectful to me. Real cool dude. But let's talk about Thanksgiving, guys. It's Thanksgiving today. And I've been tweeting a lot of stuff. Last night on my broadcast, I chopped up some real good game about Thanksgiving and the Aboriginal history of foundational Black Americans. But family, we need to really understand what Thanksgiving is really about. And there's a lot of untold history about Thanksgiving. Now, where does Thanksgiving really come from? What they tell you that in the 1600s, Thanksgiving started because some white English settlers who were pilgrims got together around the Jamestown or the Virginia area, around there, somewhere around that area, that they got together with the Native Americans and had a big old feast to give thanks around November 25th. And they had turkey and all of this good shit. And it was a coming together of two cultures and complete crock of bullshit. Okay? Let's pick the whole, let's pick that narrative apart. Okay? Hey, number one, they don't know what the menu was for the Thanksgiving or the feast. It was really a harvest feast. It was not really, they never called it Thanksgiving at the time. We're going to get on that in a minute. Where did the name Thanksgiving come from? They didn't call it Thanksgiving because it was basically the white English settlers, they had a successful crop and they had a little, they ate good for like 3-4 days because they were starving. These white supremacists didn't know how to grow nothing, didn't know how to cultivate nothing. Some years before that harvest, they were reduced to cannibalism, where they were eating each other. These are broke white folks who came from Europe who couldn't plant nothing. They didn't know anything about agriculture or anything. So they got over here and started starving and literally got into cannibalism. So when they got over here and people kind of showed them and gave them the game on how to, grow some shit and not starve to death, they were like, oh shit, we about to eat good for a few days. So that was basically what it was. So it wasn't this big coming together and all of this shit. The Native Americans, from what I understand, there was one version of the story where the white men, they started busting guns in the air to celebrate, and then the natives came through thinking that it was about to be a war popping off, and they saw, okay, these hungry white folks are just having a decent meal for a change, so it ain't nothing to trip on. So that's really all it amounted to. Later on, they took that narrative and created the Thanksgiving holiday, okay? So where did the whole November 25th thing come from, where it's going to be the last week of November, the last Thursday of November? Where did that come from? Because that harvest feast actually happened in September, October, okay? Yeah, they were eating each other, yes. Google the starving time in Jamestown. Google that. We talked about that in one of the Hidden Colors films. Look up the starving time. These white supremacists, when they came over without black people helping them out, they came over here and just started starving. That was the thing. They were starving to death. They didn't know how to, they would try to get these colonies popping. They didn't know how to cultivate food, hunt food. They had bad relations with the native people, and they just started starving. And until black people really started helping them, that's when they got their shit together. But we're going to get on that in a second. So where did Thanksgiving really come from? Where did the turkey thing come from? Nobody, the whole baked turkey thing. I mean, where did that come from? Now, there were turkeys in the area, and turkeys are indigenous to North America, but there's no evidence that there was turkey actually served on the menu. What's up, Tia? Everybody say what's up to my sister, Tia. We had a Zoom call with the whole family today. Shout out to my sister, Tia. So, now where did all this stuff, where did the turkey and all this shit come from? Now let's go deep. I posted a page from a book earlier on my Twitter from a book written in 1887 called The Moors in Spain by Stanley Poole Lane. Again, in the 1800s, you had some white people who would tell the truth. The root of Thanksgiving actually started in Spain. The root of Thanksgiving actually started in Spain. The November 25th date was November 25th, 1491. That was the Treaty of Grenada. That was when the white Christians in Spain finally defeated the Moors, the black Moors. And for those who don't know, the Moors were black people who were running Spain for 700 years. They defeated the Moors. Finally, that last stronghold was Grenada. That was November 25th, 1491. When you read this book, and I put the page up, I put the receipt up, it said that Queen Isabella and the rest of the white Spaniards, they got down on their knees on that day and gave thanks to God because this was a new awakening. That day was very important to white supremacy. Come on. Okay. The Moors being defeated was extremely important to Western society, and they knew it. They knew the Moorish stronghold was over and the Western expansion was going to begin. They knew this. Okay? Also, at the time, a lot of the Moors were going over to what would become the country of Turkey. They would be called Turkish Moors or Turks. The Moors and Turks and all of these names were kind of interchangeable. A lot of the original Turks were black-skinned people. Moor, Turk, all of these words were kind of interchangeable. Okay? What's up, bud? I'm Black, though. How are you, dear? The word turkey, it comes from those Turks. Turkeys are not indigenous to Europe at all. They would call the Moors, the black Moors, Turks. That was kind of a derogatory term. Even now, calling somebody a turkey, that's a derogatory term. Look up the word turkey. Look up the definition. See, the country would be named Turkey after the Turks, but the calling people turkey or calling a thing a turkey, that's a negative thing. In the 70s, remember that people would say, you jive-ass turkey. But even in polite society, the term turkey, as it relates to a person, it's a negative. It's a person who's an imbecile, a person who's stupid. So when they came over, when the Spanish came over, the Spanish saw these birds. The birds, the original name of a turkey, or the version of turkeys that was in the old world, was the African guinea fowl, okay? So that bird has always been associated with Africa. It looked like the African, that was the name of it. That particular bird, that version and that they saw in Europe or in Africa, it was the African guinea fowl. So when they saw the turkey has a red thing on its head like a fez, like the Moors. The Moors would wear these red hats, these fezzes. So the common narrative is the turkeys were named after what they viewed the people over there in Spain. You understand? It's some real heavy shit. It's real heavy. The Moors were the turkeys. And This is why they would hunt Moors and kill Moors, and people even said, yeah, Google all this stuff I'm saying. There's some heavy stuff. You got to put a lot of documents together. You got to put a lot of documents together to really get to the truth. But they were slaughtering Moors when they were getting in the Reconquista. And we've been to Spain, me and my queen, we've been to Spain. We've seen some of the vile shit that was done during the Inquisition and during the Reconquista. I mean, they were doing some vile shit. So why do you think they have a tradition of carving a turkey? Why is that a big thing? It's like a ceremonial thing to carve a turkey. Well, this is what they were doing to the Moors. They were stabbing and killing up the Moors. See, they use a lot of animal symbolisms for black people. You dig? They use a lot of animal symbolisms. Yeah? So, even the running of the bulls. When you look at the running of the bulls represent the black Moors. You understand? The bulls represent the black Moors, and the bull is killed in Spain. Have you been to a bullfight? We went to a bullfight in Spain. And even in Spain, what they have something called the running of the bulls, where the people in Spain dress up in white and they run and chase a black bull around the streets of Spain. That's where that's them symbolically running the black Moors out of Spain. So they've always used animal symbolisms. Yeah? They've always used animal symbolisms. So over here with turkeys, it's said that they use the turkey as a substitute, as a symbol for the Moors. This is why, they do a lot of turkey hunting out here. A lot of white people like to do this turkey hunting. It's real heavy. They do a lot of turkey hunting. And this whole getting turkeys and hunting them down and carving them up and all that is this real big ceremonial thing. It's real heavy. So all of these things are not coincidences. White people don't choose dates for just random reasons. They choose certain dates for a certain reason. They choose certain dates for very specific reasons. Yeah? Yeah, they be out there shooting turkeys with AR-15s. Yeah, this is a bird, dude. It's only a bird, but they take that turkey hunting seriously. Yeah? They take that thing real seriously. Wait, do we have moist trolls in here? What do we got in here? Okay. Somebody said there were some moist trolls in here. I can't see them. Okay. I can't see them. But what's up, DJ Scrap Dirty? But there's a lot of, real funny style meanings about a lot of traditions out here. And they try to make it seem like, well, it was about the English settlers having a good relationship with the Native Americans. Okay, that's some bullshit. That didn't happen. And let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. And we have to really get this narrative in our minds that Foundation of Black Americans, we are descendant. What's up, Godfrey? Shout out to Godfrey. Understand that we are descended from not only the African brothers and sisters who came over in captivity, but the Aboriginal people here. We're descended from that. I pointed out last night when I did my broadcast about all of these scholars and explorers who would say in their own words, talk about the black people and the black tribes and the black Aboriginal people who were here. We need to really make a reassessment about the slave trade and who are the real indigenous people. See, what they told us is that all the indigenous people were wiped out. No, they weren't. Many of the indigenous people of this land are still walking around now. We were just reclassified as Negroes. They didn't wipe everybody out. We're still here. We're the remnants of the Aboriginal people. We're still here. You understand? We're the ones they couldn't wipe out. They didn't wipe us out. They got us thinking that everybody came on a slave ship. Even though people came on a slave ship, the number is smaller than what they're telling us, guys. Let's put 2 and 2 together, all right? Let's put 2 and 2 together. In Virginia, when they talked about 1619, they always try to bring that date to 1619. There were thousands of black people on this land before 1619. There's a lot of people already here before 1619. Well documented. And even in 1619, it was a boat with like 20 Negroes, and it was like a handful of black people. Okay? They're telling you in 1619, 20 Negroes came over on a boat, and I think the ship, it was a Dutch ship that was supposed to go to South America somewhere, then it got detoured up here, and it was 20 Negroes, and all of a sudden there's a million niggas. That don't make no sense. No. See, we got to get these numbers right. Yeah, 20 turned into a million, just in a few years. We've been here, dude. We've been here. You dig? Black natives were already here. They just reclassified everybody. And I broke that down last night. I'm telling you the actual people who did it. I started naming people, telling people who were running the vital statistics office in New Orleans, in Virginia, who just literally just changed the names. Or they would change people's names from Indian to Negro. Because the name of the game was to take our birthright and to take the land and let us think that we don't have any claim to the land and tell us we're just a foreign minority from some far off place that we don't know about. So what they would do, you just go capture an Aboriginal person somewhere and then take them to some plantation far off somewhere. And, when they have offspring, you have a kid that's being raised on a plantation. They don't know. You get that kid and you sell that kid, so they don't know their history. So it was very easy for them to start erasing our history. This is why they wanted to get, those black children. They wanted to get those black children. And let's be very clear. We got to understand the slave trade game. Remember, guys, they stopped the international slave trade in the late 1700s, early 1800s. In the early 1800s, around 1807, around that time, it became illegal to import people from Africa over here. You understand? It actually became illegal. So throughout the entire 1800s, you had, illegal shipments of black people still coming over from Africa in very small numbers, but it was actually like 1806, 1807, it became illegal to import more African people over. But the domestic slave trade was still booming. Why? It was booming because they just continued to enslave the Aboriginal people. You understand? Them stopping the international slave trade, it didn't affect anything over here. This country became more and more powerful because of free slave labor. Y'all start Googling what I'm telling you. See, we got to start using common sense with some of these narratives when we're studying our history. They're telling us that just these slave ships just kept coming over, bringing millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people over here to North America. That's just not true. The last slave ship arrived in 1863. I think it was a brother named Cujo or something like that, who ended up living down in Alabama. And that was an illegal ship that came. I think it went to Mobile, Alabama. I know about that last slave ship. And it was an illegal ship, I think. Yeah. But again, it was a handful of black folks that came off that ship. That doesn't account for all the millions of black people who were here. Yeah. You feel me? And the Trail of Tears, there was a lot of black folks on that because they were coming from Florida. Part of the Trail of Tears, it was part of the Seminole War. A lot of black people were on the Trail of Tears. A lot of black people who freed themselves, a lot of free black people. Real heavy stuff. I talked about that before. Yes, Cujo Lewis came from the Dahomey tribe. Yeah. So they said they try to give you the narrative of the Mongolian looking Native American and understand how the white supremacists work. What's up, Brown Easter? You said all this slavery talk is depressing. Tell us something positive about your history. We're talking real talk right here, dear. This is positive. Knowing your real history is a positive. You understand? Knowing your history is positive. Knowing the truth is a positive. Yeah? Yeah, get a book, Godfrey, The Black History Reader by Dr. Claude Anderson. Yeah? Our history is positive. See, you don't think like that. Our family sacrificing, dealing and fighting this damn white supremacists and surviving is positive because your ass is still here. You understand? You're still here. So that's a positive. Yeah, just imagine them experiencing that. I'm not going to sit here and, deny what happened to my family. This is our family. So they want us to know the truth. They didn't sacrifice their lives for us to be out here spreading lies about who they were. Our family tried to let us know, hey, we're from here. They would tell us, hey, we're Aboriginal people. A lot of the older black people, and even in the slave narratives, a lot of black people would say, hey, my grandmother was full Native American. My such and such was Native American. Whoop-de-whoop. We're from here. We're Indians. We're Aboriginal people from here. You understand? And they don't want people telling lies so that they can come up with ways to take things from us and deny us what's ours, like our land. Remember, guys, when they started doing a lot of the race riots in the early 1900s especially, I want y'all to notice something. A lot of the race riots where they would cause, the white supremacists would go in and just start attacking black people and take their land, these were happening in places where there were a lot of black people who had Native American ancestry. Wilmington, that North Carolina area, a lot of black folks have Native American ancestry, Aboriginal ancestry. Down in Florida, Rosewood, other parts of Florida, Seminoles, in that area, black people had a lot of Native American ancestry. Tulsa, you got to understand, a lot of those reservations were out there in Tulsa. That's where the Trail of Tears went. The Trail of Tears went to Oklahoma. So you had a lot of black Aboriginal people living in Oklahoma. And then they ended up, so a lot of those people created the Black Wall Street. So we got to really understand what a lot of these race riots were about. It's easy for them to go into these places where all these black Aboriginal people were, create a disturbance, wipe them out or take their land from them and expel them from the land and just say it was just a Negro riot that went wrong. They got banished out of here. Now we're going to take their land. Now, these were actual Aboriginal people. And they were doing that all over the country. They just say that it was a Negro riot and take black people's land. We have to look at it from that perspective, guys. We have to look at it from that perspective. These are our lands that they took and never gave them back. And now you have a bunch of fake-ass $5 Indians who are really white people running around with feathers talking about, hey, I'm Cherokee, dude. That they done paid $5 to get on the Indian roll, and now they got access to all of these casinos, free medical, health care. They done sat up here and took your lineage from you. And you sitting up here talking that Wakanda shit. You understand? Yeah, Mink Slide. There's a reason why I named my group Mink Slide. They tried that shit. Mink Slide was an area of Tennessee where they tried that shit, but the black people fought back. You understand? They tried that. Let me tell you something. They tried to wipe black people out of the Mink Slide area of Tennessee. The black folks fought back. They also tried to wipe black people out of Atlanta. I think 1906. They tried that shit in Atlanta, And them street dudes got access to guns and said, nah, this shit ain't gonna happen. They start busting on cops and the whole 9 yards. They tried that bullshit down in Atlanta. And again, let me tell you something. They also tried the shit down in Alabama too. When we think of Birmingham and the civil rights movement, we think of, people out there being nonviolent. Let me tell you something. Down in Birmingham, they were whooping ass in the civil rights movement. They don't tell you about that. They were beating the shit out of white people in Birmingham at one point. Everybody wasn't nonviolent out there. Let's be very clear. They were getting busy down there in Birmingham. They were getting real busy. That's why they had to go down there and tell them to be nonviolent, because they were turning up so heavy. They had to go down there and say, hey, come on. And niggas now in Birmingham will still fuck you up. I lived there. Niggas in Birmingham don't play around like that. You dig? Yeah, they got you thinking niggas in Alabama were all walking on the Edmund Pettus Bridge getting whooped. No. Oh, no. So they don't tell you this part of the game here. Yeah? Yeah, that's the footage they don't show. Now, Godfrey, I showed some footage in the 1960s that's very rare on my broadcast a few weeks ago when Dr. King went to Watts, when they had the Watts riots out there. And there was some footage that they don't like to show. They don't like to show when Dr. King went out there. A lot of folks don't know. Dr. King came out here to L.A. during the Watts riots to calm everybody down. And they had a meeting, and I got it on video. And they were like, hey, Dr. King, we fuck with you, but that nonviolence, nah, that's not going to work here, brother. Yeah, we like you, we respect you, but no, we going to fuck white people up tonight. Yes, as soon as you leave, the reason we're not fucking them up now is because you were here, but when you leave, it's going to be on and popping. This is not Selma. We're fucking these white folks up tonight. Dr. King said, well, what about the police? Oh, we're going to burn them up too. We're fucking them up too. Everybody's going to get fucked up, Dr. King. But pray for us, you know. You pray for us, we'll pray for you. But, you know, we're going to pray after we fuck these white people up. They don't tell you that part of the game. You know? Man. Real heavy stuff. What's up, Sheba? But the Sheba, you got a halo over your head. I'm looking at Sheba's picture. It looks like she got a halo over her head.
I need you to answer this question for me, and I need you to answer it honestly. Are you currently ashy? Look at your knuckles. How they look? Dry. Toe webbings. How they look? Dry. Elbow. Dry. Knee. Dry. Everything about you right now is currently dry, and I know this. Why? Because I can read your mind, babe. I know what you're thinking. So let's change this up. Ash Fire 3000. Get you something. It's that simple, you know. You apply a little bit in the morning. Enjoy your day. At night, enjoy your day. Here's the thing. You cannot be swiping left and right on Tinder with those dry-ass knuckles of yours. Okay? I need you to answer this question for me, and I need you to